Before the gods had name, before steel learned to sing, the forest already knew what would come to an end. In the shadow of the pine and stone, where no crown has ever ruled, there lived a child of claw and breath, raised by hunger, raised by moon. No fire spoke his given name, no blade had kissed his skin. The wolves were first to teach him law, the silence carved him in. He learned the language of the snow, the patience of the dark, to hear the truth in breaking ice and read the night by spark. They say the wild remembers what men were meant to be, before the chains of oath and throne, before the lie called destiny. When the wolves remember, they howl for what was lost, not for kings or golden halls, but for the ancient cause. When the wolves remember, the earth begins to bleed, for nature never needed gods, and gods never learned to need. Years passed like drifting ash, the world of men drew near. Axes rang through sacred groves, and fear replaced the fear. The trees fell screaming into mud, the rivers choked on iron, and in the smoke of burning homes, the old gods turned to silence. He watched from frost and shadow bark as war consumed the plain, men killing men in borrowed names of honor, faith, and gain. The wolf stood still beside him, eyes like dying stars. They knew the scent of coming change, the taste of open scar. The gods were carved in marble now, too far to hear the plea, while claws and roots and ancient bones still bled for what would be. When the wolves remember, they do not pray or kneel, they answer fire only with the truth no sword can steal. When the wolves remember, the snow learns how to burn, for every wound the world receives, the wild will one day return. Blood to earth, bone to tree, all that lives must one day be. No crown stands, no god remains, only echoes, only name. He stared from dark to frozen field, no armor, no command, only breath and beating heart, and frost upon his hands. The men saw not a warrior, nor beast, nor god above. They saw the end of borrowed laws, they saw remember love. Steel rang once, then rang again, but claws moved faster still. The forest rose in roaring breath to answer broken will. Not victory, not rage he sought, no song would mark the slain, only balance torn by greed returned through tooth and pain. When the wolves remember, the sky forgets its throne. The world was never meant to bow to gods of flesh and bone. When the wolves remember and night reclaims the land, the wild does not forgive mankind. It only understands if ever you hear howling when snow begins to fall. Know the earth is telling you it remembers all. Before the gods had names, before steel learned to sing, the forest already knew what would come to an end. In the shadow pine and stone, where no crown has ever ruled, there lived a child of claw and breath, raised by hunger, raised by moon. No fire spoke his given name, no blade had kissed his skin. The wolves were first to teach him law, the silence carved him in. He learned the language of the snow, the patience of the dark, to hear the truth in breaking ice and read the night by spark. They say the wild remembers what men were meant to be, before the chains of oath and throne, before the lie called destiny. When the wolves remember, they howl for what was lost, not for kings or golden halls, but for the ancient cause. When the wolves remember, the earth begins to bleed, for nature never needed gods, and gods never learned to need. Years passed like drifting ash, the world of men drew near. Axes rang through sacred groves, and fear replaced the fear. The trees fell screaming into mud, the rivers choked on iron, and in the smoke of burning homes, the old gods turned to silence. He watched from frost and shadowed bark as war consumed the plain, men killing men in borrowed names of honor, faith, and gain. Whoa, the wolf stood still beside him, eyes like dying stars. They knew the scent of coming change, the taste of open scars. The gods were carved in marble now, too far to hear the plea, while claws and roots and ancient bones still bled for what would be. When the wolves remember, they do not pray or kneel, they answer fire only with the truth no sword can steal. When the wolves remember, the snow learns how to burn, for every wound the world receives, the wild will one day return. must one day be. No crown stands, no God remains, only echoes, only name. He stepped from dark to frozen field, no armor, no command, only breath and beating heart and frost upon his hand. The men saw not a warrior, nor beast, nor God above. They saw the end of borrowed laws, they saw remembered love. Steel rang once, then rang again, but claws move faster still. The forest rose in roaring breath to answer broken will. Not victory, not rage he sought, no song would mark the slain. Only balance torn by greed, returned through tooth and pain. When the wolves remember, the sky forgets its throne. The world was never meant to bow to gods of flesh and bone. When the wolves remember, and night reclaims the land, the wild does not forgive mankind, it only understands. If ever you hear howling when snow begins to fall, know the earth is telling you it remembers all.